Dylan with Mesa Fitness here, and we're back for episode 8 of GymTalk. Okay, in this episode, I am chatting with Patty and Dave Deters. Many of you guys from the Mesa Fitness Clifton location, including the staff, know Patty and Dave. They both have some pretty incredible fitness stories, and that's part of why I wanted to bring them on today, is to share their stories, share their experience, what it's like working with a trainer, what it's like in the team training program. But we also wanted to highlight the business that they run, Ambassador Blinds. Now, Ambassador Blinds is one of the keystone sponsors for this year's 2021 12-week challenge. So we wanted to give them a little bit of spotlight and a big shout out and a big thank you for sponsoring this year's challenge. Okay, so here is episode 8 with Patty and Dave. Okay, so first off, I want to start with an introduction to you guys. Now, I'll film, post our video here. I'll film an intro of the two of you guys, but I want you guys to introduce yourselves. So each one of you, if you want to introduce yourself, a little bit of your background, and then how you got into the gym, how you got into Mesa Fitness.
I actually think a truck just pulled up with the delivery.
Yeah, well,
That's
here,
totally
we'll
okay.
just set it outside. I'm going to close the
I
blinds.
think it's the setters. Okay. Sorry, Dylan.
We're just a mess here.
You guys are okay.
Okay, did you say, he's just going to see if we have to be there. Introduce ourselves type of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, we can start with yours, and then Dave can introduce himself when he comes back in.
Are you sure? Because he's just checking with the driver to see if he needs us. So.
Okay.
I'm ready, but he'll walk in.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, what I really like with these videos is the authenticity. So even if you guys are walking in and out or a little bit like that, I like it because then it gives us a look into like what you guys are actually doing.
It's like really real. Okay. All right.
It's really real, really authentic.
All right. My name is Patty Deters, and Dave and I joined Gold's Gym, which is now Mesa Fitness, before the doors opened. So we did the pre-sales, and then we've been a part of the gym in Clifton ever since. We are Christian ministers, and that's how we met. And probably for the first 18 years of our relationship, we were on staff where meals were just provided for you.
Wow.
And so when we moved to Grand Junction in 2003, I had 3 children, and I was 40 years old, 41, and I had never really had to cook meals.
Oh man, okay.
And so I'm raising 3 children. We're starting our business, which was Ambassador Blinds, and I don't like cooking, so I bought a lot of just like Stouffer's lasagnas or Stouffer's mac and cheese, and so in 2016, when I did do the 12-week challenge, a big part of my success was learning about food. And we can get into that a little bit more, but basically it turned my health around like unbelievably. Yes, I lost weight, but the health benefits were incredible. So that's a little bit about me. And here comes Dave.
Oh, just in time.
So I just introducing yourself and a little bit about you.
All right. Well, I'm Dave with Ambassador Blinds, and Patty and I have done the business for about 18 years, and we've been doing the gym.
I was telling them since before they opened, like we
started doing NLP a few years after that, and it's been great. Been staying faithful with that and seeing great results. Just feeling 100% every day, and enjoying getting older instead of dreading it. So
That's good. That's good. I think that's the goal of a lot of people is to actually enjoy that and not just, wake up every morning and be sad about it.
yeah.
So talk a little bit about each of your guys' journeys. I know, Patty, you've had a pretty large journey from that point in 2016 that you entered the challenge. Maybe talk about each of your guys' journey through fitness, what you guys have done since joining the gym. Back
So that point about like not really knowing how to cook and eating mainly processed food. So from the time that we moved to Grand Junction, which was 2003, I just put on weight every year, and I did not know how to get it off, like at all. Like I joined Weight Watchers 6 or 7 times. Like if you named a diet, I could probably tell you that I did it. Our son in 2014 needed scoliosis surgery, and that was a big deal. So he was 14 and he had a rod put in his back from T4 to L4, and the surgeon told him in order for him not to have to need another surgery when he was an adult, he needed to have a strong core. So he was cleared to exercise 6 months after surgery. So 6 months to the day, he said, "Mom, can you take me to the gym?" And so we went to the gym, and the NLP program, this was May of 2015. The NLP program was pretty new. It may have been in existence about a year. But we had a friend, Maribel McClellan, who had had great success, as did her children. And she was just talking up the program. So Joe joined the program, I joined the program, Dave joined the program. And then that led us to the 2016, or me to the 2016 12-week challenge, because Maribel kept saying, Ryan, who was a trainer, wants to help you in the 12-week challenge. And I was like, nobody can help me. I'm beyond help. I've tried everything. No one can help me. And she just wouldn't get off my back. And so to get her off my back, I talked to this trainer, and he says, oh, he's super excited, young, think Parker, just very excited. They love what they're doing. But I was like, if you truly want to help me, I need a lot of help. Like, I don't know how to eat. I can exercise, with your help. I will give my all on that. But I have been unsuccessful forever. And so I signed up, and this particular trainer would help me with, he had me log my food every day and then bring it to him at the end of the week. And then literally on his own time, he would go over it. And then he would just make small changes with me. So like, it wasn't everything at once. So I used to eat Raisin Bran and milk for breakfast. That was a good choice, right? I mean, it was only like 150 calories. But he was like, why don't you have eggs and oatmeal? So I was like, oh, eggs and like oatmeal with lots of brown sugar. No, how about eggs, maybe throw some spinach in there, and plain oatmeal. And you could put some fruit on top. And that would be a change we make. And I could do that. And so I would do that. And then like next we might move to lunches. Well, what do you eat? Well, I have deli meat and bread and mayonnaise and cheese, and he just taught me those things along with me doing the NLP program during the 12-week challenge. So in 2011, I had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and you have to get blood work every 4 months. In January of 2016, I had blood work. Then I started the challenge. Then we went the 12 weeks, and then I had to have blood work again. It's just mandatory for them to refill your medicine.
Right.
And everything had gone into remission. So the inflammation markers, which are like the ESR, and I think it's the CRP, were super high in January, and they were like below normal in April. And my blood pressure was high when I started, and my blood pressure was normal after the 12 weeks. I think I lost 33 pounds in that 12 weeks. But I was heavy when I started. And I just never looked back. Like, I felt like I had finally like unlocked the key, which was calories in, calories out. But my calories in had been so processed that it was like hurting my body. It may not be that for everybody, but I also used to drink 96 ounces of Diet Coke. We were just talking about this with our guys this morning. So I drank Coke like water, Diet Coke. And when I started the challenge, I switched that to water. And, that made a huge difference as well. So I blog, I write, I wrote all about the challenge, but kept it private. And after the 12 weeks, a lot of friends were like, why don't you make that public? And so I do have, a blog on Instagram and a web page, but it's just been a great ride. And we love the gym, and the gym family. And we hope that we've inspired people, that no matter how old you are, that you can, get fit and stay fit and enjoy life, because Dave just turned 60, I'm 59, and we want to enjoy these years. So,
Right.
and we are. So
That's
that's a little bit, probably too much about me.
I want to expand on a couple of things, and then Dave, I want to ask you about your journey too. One of the big things that not a lot of people understand is that nutrition plays a huge part in that. And I really like the point that you made about Ryan slowly changing your regimen, like how you ate. 1 week it's breakfast, and then a couple weeks later it's lunch, and you're making small tweaks. A lot of people try to drastically change, and essentially go cold turkey overnight, and then it ends up failing. Can you guys kind of elaborate on how that change went over the first couple of weeks? Like, were you resistant to it, or were you pretty open to, I'll try anything at this point?
For me, I'll try anything. But it wasn't like it stuck right away. Like we did that, like right away, we changed the breakfast and that was fine. And I remember saying, well, why isn't cereal good? And well, it has sugar and it is processed. And I really still to this day, and it's like 5 or 6 years later, sometimes struggle with what is processed food. But then, you talk about the perimeter of a grocery store, like things those are like whole foods or, more whole foods. So I am learning. But I remember one day I came to like a morning session at the gym, and it was early, so I hadn't eaten first. We worked out hard. And then on the way home, I went to McDonald's and they don't have them anymore, but I got an egg white delight. And I always just did calories, so I remember telling him, I was like, Ryan, I made the best choice today. I went after that workout and I went to McDonald's and I got an egg white delight, and it was only, I don't know, 180, 200 calories. Wasn't that a great choice? And I'll never forget it. He just looked at me and he goes, why didn't you just go home and make eggs? And I was like, huh? Not realizing, that it can't, I don't think they make that egg white thing fresh every day. I think that's a packaged item that comes into McDonald's, making it a processed food. And so I was not resistant to it, but I had a lot to learn. I will tell the trainers there all the time, don't feel like because you told me something once that I've got it. Yeah. Please tell me again and again. So that's how it went for me.
Dave, talk about your story a little bit. Obviously, you guys both joined the NLP, what is now called the Team Training Program, at the same time. What kind of stuff were you working on when you joined?
Well, I was trying to lose some weight, because before that I kept losing weight, and we finally got diagnosed with celiac disease and learned to stay away from gluten, and that was a huge improvement on quality of life. But I was still drinking, maybe not 96 ounces, but it was quite a bit of Diet Coke every day, and doing the processed foods, and just saw the immediate change once we got off the soda and we got off the processed foods, and started seeing results and seeing more mobility, just getting stronger, and just feeling better. And that was what kept me coming back, and just initially just wanting to support my wife and my son, but I also got a lot out of it too.
He 100% joined to support me, which is just the kindest thing, anybody can do. And then as he did that, he saw the benefits. And I think you did the 12-week challenge 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did really well.
Came in second, but Yeah, it was a great experience too. Just seeing how you can faithfully log your food and hit your targets and see those results.
Well, you like live interaction. Let me go move that phone that's ringing.
Dave, how was that nutritional change for you? Obviously, you talked about the change from soda to water, and then cutting out gluten and moving away from processed foods. How did you and your body react to that initially?
Oh, it reacted great because I had already kind of gone through that with learning to stay away from gluten and to eat gluten-free. And that seemed like hard at first, just hard to figure out what was okay and what wasn't okay to eat. But when to get off the processed foods, I immediately saw the improvement in how I felt, and it was very easy.
So he got diagnosed with celiac pretty soon after we moved to Grand Junction. So I just want to just be clear, before then, no matter what he ate, it didn't stay in his body. And so he was very, very thin. So when he figured out the celiac, but yet we were eating the processed food, he put on weight. And so when he said he joined to try and drop weight, that was it because
I'd gone from 165 up to 220, and I'd gotten as low as 165 before we figured out the gluten thing.
Wow.
And he's 6'4".
And then I went up to 220, and then I was like, well, I want to lose some, and that helped me doing the team training.
Yeah.
He likes to tell me every time he goes to the doctor, and his doctor will say, "This is the best blood work I've ever seen on anybody I've ever had."
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah, for those of you who don't know Dave and are watching this, Dave's a pretty tall guy. You're what, 6'4", 6'4"?
Yeah.
So to get down to 165, I mean, that's pretty tough. I mean, in high school, I went through something similar, not in a health stance, but I was super tall. I went from, being one of the taller kids in class to probably the tallest kid in class my freshman year. So I think I grew 5 or 6 inches, and I turned into a beanpole. I mean, I was almost 6 feet and I weighed $130.
Oh my gosh.
Skinny little dude, and playing basketball, my dad told me, dude, we need to put some weight on you because you are just getting thrown everywhere. So I understand the pain there. Talk a little bit about, a lot of people hear, I eat a gluten-free diet, or I have to stay away from gluten. Maybe talk a little bit about what exactly that is, and what kind of thing, what are the big couple of things that a lot of people tend to gravitate towards that you have to avoid?
Pastas, breads.
Yeah, bread and pasta is off limits, and I can occasionally have some, but if I have too much of it, I'll definitely notice it. And basically, the celiac thing is that your lower intestines are always irritated, and they're not getting the nutrition out of the food you eat. So you lose weight, you get weaker. And by staying away from the foods that have gluten in, which are wheat is one of the main ones, your lower intestines are no longer getting irritated, and they're able to draw that nutrition out of the food you eat. So it's kind of a win-win then, because you're getting more from the food you eat and you're feeling better.
And we've been able to find, especially more so the last probably 5 years, but you're able to find gluten-free bread or gluten-free pasta. So as a whole, our family has moved away from lasagnas or mac and cheese, but they like mac and cheese, the children, with ham for a holiday meal. Right. And we're able to find the gluten-free macaroni so that he could still have that and not get irritated. So there's a lot available now in the stores for people that might have celiac. So
I guess the other thing I learned in the food thing too was just staying away from pork. Eating pork didn't agree. It kind of went through me. And if I stay away from pork, I feel a lot better. So it's just kind of learning your body, I guess, too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point in the sense that nutrition plays a really big impact on how you feel. You know, if you go out, let's say you go out to Taco Bell for dinner the night before, you wake up the next morning and maybe you don't feel that great. It's probably because of what you ate, not based on what the other things you did. You know,
Right.
so eating things like that, and that's a great point, that it doesn't have to be fast food. You know, it could be something as simple as pork or pasta that could just be disagreeing with your body. And just understanding those things might help you feel better without even having to step into a gym.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We as a couple, we also, it's not difficult for us to stay away from sugar, so we also don't have a lot of sugar. But one of the things I noticed in that first 12 weeks when my diet was really changing was every night previous when I would go to bed, I woke up with the acid reflux, horrible, horrible acid reflux, to where you go to bed, you fall asleep, you're sound asleep, and then you wake up with the acid reflux. And that totally went away in that 12 weeks of changing my eating habits. And I like to bring that up because when I do, I invariably find people that struggle with acid reflux. And it especially will come back to me if I eat something like, okay, I'm going to have a treat, I'm going to have ice cream, and I have that like at 6 o'clock or something. I'll still get that acid reflux at night. So it's just amazing what food can do for your body and how it affects you. So
Yeah, that's always kind of incredible. I've talked to quite a few people who have gone through stories like yours, and nutrition has always played probably the biggest part. Obviously, you can come in and you can just work your body to exhaustion in an hour or 2 hour workout. But if you're going to go fuel it with something that isn't helping that, you're basically just wasting time in the gym. You're working up a sweat. You're probably building strength, but at the same time, you're not fueling it with the correct stuff to do what you want. So your journey is going to take longer, and you may still get there, but the nutrition is what's going to get you over the hilltop.
exactly.
This question is really for both of you, but who was your guys' biggest cheerleader? Patty, I think I know the answer from what we talked about before. Dave obviously entered the challenge, but maybe outside of Dave, who was your guys' biggest cheerleader on your fitness journey?
I would say there was two. I would say for me, it was Maribel McClellan. She literally would change her workout schedule because I was heavy and I didn't like myself at all. So I would walk into the gym like this. And, she would say, hey, I'll meet you there at such and such a time. And then the second person would be that trainer, Ryan. So we were in the 12-week challenge. And from day one, like he would say, see you later, champ. And I literally for 3 weeks, I had no idea he was doing that. Like somebody had to point it out to me, like he's talking to you. And I'm like,
really?
What do you mean he's talking to me? And they would go, he's saying, see you later, champ. I'm like, who's the champ? Like, what are you talking about? Like he started just instilling positive thing. And your trainers today can do, they do the same thing. I needed it then. I needed it bad. I would do a squat in front of the mirror in that, I'm not sure what you call it now. We call it the fun room, the NLP room. But, my stomach would be sticking out and I'd be like, oh, I'm the Pillsbury Doughboy. He'd be like, don't talk like that about yourself, And I was like, oh. So I would say definitely Maribel. I'm so thankful for Maribel. And then just the positive reinforcement from that trainer.
Yeah, that's always something that's really incredible is to watch. That's actually the only position in Mesa Fitness that I haven't done as a trainer. And so it's always really interesting to see how the trainers interact with their clients. And I can honestly say that all the good trainers that we've had in my tenure here do something similar to that. They're always encouraging. They're always positive. They're high energy. Parker blows everybody out of the water with his energy. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy is a freaking Energizer bunny. It's crazy. But it's pretty incredible just to see even that little thing, not even just the workout, but adding that onto it, how that can change somebody's outlook on themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it took me probably 9 or 10 months to where, not months, 9 or 10 weeks. And then I was like, maybe I could be the champion. Like it took me a while to change those thoughts about myself. But honestly, the transformation is physical, but also mental. And, we've both made that. So it's been pretty cool. I don't know who your motivation.
For me, I think it was just being a part of the team training. Because if I had to get there on my own and do my own thing, I was kind of floundering with that. But once I got plugged into a team training, and there were others there, and we met every day at 4:30 in the afternoon, that was really huge to get the ball moving and start seeing results.
I mean, they're still like our best friends to this day, like the people we don't see them. I especially don't see them because of the RA. I've just started coming back to the gym and I'm pretty much in and out until I can get probably the vaccine. But I could call on any one of those gym friends at any time and they would be there for me. So it's pretty cool. It's a really good place, that Mesa Fitness in Clifton. It's just a really good family.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really enjoy being out there when I am out there is that the staff is a very large family. You get that sense at both gyms, but I think Clifton, everybody hangs out outside of work. Everybody, they're all hanging out at each other's houses. During COVID, during our closure, I mean, Parker and Paul were hanging out in Paul's garage doing workouts. So it's little things like that just really build a community among the staff, and then that it just extends to the members. Like you said, I think team training is a huge, just big community, especially in Clifton. They're a really big community of people where, even if you guys don't go to the same class, you probably know that they're a part of the team training program and you're chatting with one another. But if you're a part of that 4:30 group, that's your group, and if somebody doesn't show up, then everybody's checking on them. That's
Yeah.
that was really
Yeah.
cool.
It's awesome.
This one's again for both of you, what has been the biggest obstacle in your journey, whether it's something you're going through now or during that starting couple of weeks? What's been your biggest obstacle on your own individual journeys?
For me personally, it's been injuries or limitations that rheumatoid arthritis bring to me. I think in week 6 of the original 12-week challenge, I was jump roping as part of the workout. And I was so excited that I could even do it. But then I heard a big pop and it was my knee. And so then that kind of slowed me down. So like to be having like such good progress and then have something happen. And that still, no matter how well I do my nutrition and everything, that still can happen to me. Just my body can just wake up one day and my knee is hurting, or wake up one day and my ankle is hurting. But I've learned a lot about how to strengthen those areas. And then I do what I can. And so instead of just going to the couch and sitting down and feeling defeated for the rest of my life, that honestly would have been the old Patty. I've just continued to do what I can so that I can participate in life. So.
Yeah, I agree. Injuries can be a pretty big part. We see a lot of people tend to fall off with an injury. They get discouraged, or they feel like they can't do anything now. When in reality, there's ways that you can kind of work around the injury, at least for a little while that heals. You can work on other parts of the body. You can work on different areas, and then a lot of stuff that we have done in the last few months is to help with injury prevention, whether it's through warm-ups, through post-workout stretching, foam rolling, little things like that to try and help people prevent those injuries. But at the end of the day, they're going to happen. I mean, our trainers go through them, and they're professionals. I mean, professional athletes go through injuries all the time. So it's not going to be uncommon. It's going to happen, but it's learning to work through those. Dave, what about for you? What's been your biggest obstacle?
Well, early on, it was an injury. I broke my wrist, and I think I'd been in the program like maybe 10 months. So that was put it on hold a little bit, but I was back at it as soon as I could. And it really, I think they put 2 different screws in my wrist, but it healed up perfectly. And I can't tell you the last time I thought about my wrist until just now. But yeah. And then the other thing I think was the job, having a job, and then being tired at 4:30 and now going to go do the workout. But just sticking with it, and your body kind of adjusts, and it's been great. And then recently I just switched to where now I'm doing some morning ones, and I really like that, to get it out of the way in the morning and kind of energizes you for the day. And now at 4:30 I can keep working at my desk for another hour if need be. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I just picked up another 5 hours a week without having to work in the evenings or on a weekend. So it really helps in that category too. So just always adjusting and figuring out what works the best.
I think that's a really great point of switching it up. You talk about adding that 5 hours a week, even though you're still doing the workouts. You have 5 hours in the evenings when you're usually, toward the end of your day. Maybe you're in a flow at work and you're like, oh, I need to go to class still. Doing that in the morning, that lets you continue doing what you're doing. Whether that's spending time with kids or working, or now you're going to do something fun with the family or whatever that might be. Changing up your workout a little bit to try and adjust for your schedule can help out quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are your guys' goals now? What kind of stuff are you guys working on now that you've been in the program for a little while? You guys have seen some change. What kind of things are you working on right now?
For me, it's as long as I can keep my nutrition in check and drink a lot of water instead of coffee, I can see where my joints feel better. So with having rheumatoid arthritis, I would like to do all that I know how to not let that disease stop me. And I did get a new rheumatologist, and she's been like excellent in helping me with that goal, so that we talk about how 2020 was going to be our year to travel because our youngest graduated high school and we had all these trips planned. And so once we can all travel again, that would be something that Dave and I would like to do, is travel. And I would not want my health to hold me back from being able to do that. So my goal is always like to just, it's not necessarily a weight loss number or anything like that. It's to keep myself feeling good so that I can do the things that we want to do together. So,
good. Dave, what about you?
For me right now, I'm working with James on trying to build muscle. So we've been doing, I've never done this before, but doing bulking. It's like, oh my God, this is great. Eat everything I want and then some. But it was funny, after 3 weeks in, I had put on 6 pounds. But after that, I've been stuck there. And I guess I'm just not eating enough. But it's like, it's just seeing that side of it. But I definitely getting stronger. And so it's fun to be able to focus on a certain area and then work towards that.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your guys' company. Now, the main reason that we have you guys on today is because you guys are keynote sponsors of our 2021 12-week challenge. And you guys are obviously the owners and operators of Ambassador Blinds. So tell us a little bit about Ambassador Blinds, how it got started, and what exactly you guys do.
Well, we started in we moved here in August of 2003. And I started a window cleaning business, and Patty was taking care of our 3 young children. And that got pretty slow the first winter, and I learned about doing window coverings.
how did you learn about it?
Through Entrepreneur Magazine.
Okay.
And you could do a budget blinds franchise. Well, not really, because there was already one here, but it was like $120,000 for a franchise, and we didn't have that kind of money.
Right.
Or I found out about this other thing that's called Blind Brokers Network, and it was this guy in Southern California, and he was training people how to do window covering businesses, and then he would help them get set up with certain vendors to be able to get the product.
How much was that?
I think he didn't charge anything, and then it was $2,500, I think, for
That's
the sample books that we needed to get going. And I went to Southern California for 4 days. I think he called it boot camp, and because I knew nothing about window coverings, and it was a crash course on it, and learned about shutters and different things, and came back and started leaving postcards at new homes, because there was a ton of new homes going up at that time, and started getting jobs, and just kind of grew up from there. Never turned back. Still did window cleaning, and we had hired somebody to do the restaurants and stuff on a route we had, and then ended up selling him that route. But stayed busy ever since doing the window coverings, to where I think 2 years ago we broke $1 million in sales, and
Wow.
this year we're looking to break 2 million in sales. So
That's incredible.
but we couldn't do it without great help, and we have a great project manager and a wonderful installer. Patty just recently, 6 months ago or so, started
basically a COVID, yeah.
started covering the phones and scheduling, and that really freed me up, because I do the sales, and we do probably half of our business or more was commercial, but now it's that percentage is shrinking because the residential is really growing, and we've been doing advertising, radio and TV advertising, and it's worked really well for us. So
I like to say that he literally searched the back of an entrepreneur magazine, because I told you that we came from Christian ministry. That's where we met. That we had been on staff for Christian ministry. We asked to not be on staff anymore, and they asked us to move to Grand Junction. And he took the entrepreneur magazine and searched for, what do I want to do? And then he totally taught himself. They sent us VHS tapes, so let's date ourselves a little bit here. And he listened, and it was like, here's how you measure a window. Here's how the operating system of the blinds work. And he taught himself. And then in 2007, he is an Air Force person, so he did not go to traditional college. And so in 2007, he's like, I need to know how to read blueprints. And so he signed up at CMU for a blueprint class. And then he would come home and he goes, they're giving me homework. You know, he just wanted to know how to read blueprints. And he taught himself how to read blueprints and do takeoffs for window coverings and bid commercial jobs. So when the housing market fell, we were set up for commercial work. And Tim Foster at CMU was building like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a lot of those jobs, which held us through those trying times of the crash, I guess. And another thing we did was, I wanted to keep it at home, because I wanted to be the mom who was able to pick up the kids from school, and, you know, the carpool mom. And it's kind of interesting now, because so many stores are closing. So had we had a storefront, would that have been a good idea? But we were doing okay without it. And so as you can see, we're still at home.
Yeah.
My desk is now in the dining room. So we might need to think about something eventually. But yeah, I super kudos to Dave for just teaching himself. And he does a great job, just a great job.
Yeah, that's incredible. Let's see here. Talk a little bit about, I kind of want to expand on that 2008, 2007, 2008 crash. You know, you obviously talked about going into the CMU, what was then Mesa State, but is now CMU, to kind of ride that wave a little bit and get through that time. When did you really see it start to go back into residential?
Ooh.
Or have you? I mean, is your business still primarily
Commercial?
Literally, it has been more commercial than residential. And this is going to sound crazy, but up until COVID hit, so March of 2020, and the only thing we can attribute that to is people are working at home, and now the sun is shining in on their computer, and what can they do about that? And then they're also not traveling, so maybe their travel budget is being used to fix up their home. And then the other thing that we're seeing is, because people can do their job at home, maybe they don't ever need to come back to the traditional office. So there's quite a few people from California moving to Colorado. And I mean, my mom, we grew up in California. I know how much you can sell a house for in California, and you could probably buy 3 houses here in Junction with that. And so they have the money to do nice window coverings in their home. And we've seen, I would say that, wouldn't you? Like, it's kind of shifted more to residential since 2020.
Yeah, right now it is. Yeah. And because of the advertising we're doing, we're getting a lot of opportunities to quote those kind of jobs, and we're getting a good portion of them too.
That advertising is important, because you could be in business. We were in business 12 years and people would be like, I never heard of you, so
Yeah, getting your message out there, getting your name out there is a really big part of it. Obviously you guys have taken advantage of doing the challenge. That's a really big portion of it. Between the two gyms, we have about 16,000 members. So I mean, your guys' name is out there in front of quite a few people just doing that.
We really like to support things that we believe in. We don't just throw our advertising dollars, to anyone who asks. And we 1,000% believe in the gym. Like I said, we've been members since it opened. And so, yeah, we're very happy to be able to be a sponsor.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Do you guys have anything else that you want to throw out about Ambassador Blinds? And on top of that, where can people learn more about you? Obviously, you guys, I take it you guys have a website. You guys do anything on social or anything like that?
We do have an Instagram page, and we do have a Facebook page. Most people look at our website. So I did keep Instagram and Facebook up pretty well a couple of years ago, but we would maybe only get 20 views. And so it was hard to justify the time to put into that.
Right.
But we have a website. It's just www.ambassadorblindandchatter.com. And it'll take you right to our website. And there's a little chat feature on there that's new now. So if you have questions, you can chat, and it goes directly to our phones and we can answer you. That's probably the best place.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody, if they want ideas, or if they want to quote on window coverings, we offer free in-home consultations, and we can get that set up, and I'll come meet with you. We have a new salesperson consultant, Michelle, who's getting trained, and hopefully by April or so, she'll be on her own and being able to go out also and help folks. We're going down Tuesday, I think, to the Ford dealer, and we're looking at a new van for our new salesperson. So yeah, it's fun.
I wanted to tell you also, Dylan, that part of our success through 2007 and 2008 is we don't have debt. So we don't have business debt. If we buy this van, we're going to buy this van with cash. Like, we never bought a vehicle until we could have the cash to buy it. And then we didn't wrap the vehicle until we had the cash to wrap the vehicle. So honestly, that was a huge part of making it
Getting through the downturn.
through that, because we didn't have these bills to pay to keep us afloat. So we just have been very thankful to always operate that way. So
I think that's a great way to do it for small businesses. You don't operate on a large amount of debt, because you really don't know what the economy is going to do, what's going to happen with the world. I know a lot of businesses got affected with COVID because they did unfortunately have quite a bit of debt, and when COVID happened and either shut them down or slowed them down, they weren't able to make a lot of those payments, and we saw, unfortunately, a lot of mom and pop style businesses go out.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're on the upper end of that, on the upturn, which is good.
I hope so too. Yeah. We realize we've been very fortunate that our business, for some crazy reason, took off during COVID.
Yeah.
So we understand that we're very fortunate and that there are people, that we really feel
Restaurant
for.
owners and folks like that. Yeah, not so much.
So,
All right, so I want to move into a portion of these shows that I like to call
The Fitness 4.
Now, both of you guys can answer these questions, but they're the same 4 questions that I ask every single guest, regardless of who they are, what their journey looks like, or if they're involved with the gym. Okay, so the first one is, what is your guys' favorite song to get you going in the gym? Now, I know this might be a little different for you guys because you guys take part in the NLP program. We do a lot of different music in there. Is there anything that really gets you going?
I'm a huge Queen person. So I like Don't Stop Me Now. Don't Stop Me Now. Hands down, Queen, but that one I really love. Do you have one?
I don't. I'm not a big music person. I don't really have one.
Okay, that's totally okay. We've had a lot of different answers, and that's why I continue to ask the question, because it's so good. There's so many different things that people do, whether it's podcasts or music, or maybe they just don't listen to anything at all. It's always pretty interesting. Okay. Second question of the Fitness 4 is, what is your guys' favorite exercise and your least favorite exercise?
Favorite. Well, I tell you, my least favorite is probably deadlifts.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see
Because the heavier you go with the bar, the more it hurts your hands to hold the darn thing. I don't know. That's not a big fave of mine. And probably a favorite, I like working bench press.
Favorite, I probably like things like the lat pull down bar or anything triceps. For some reason, that my background in swimming has that part of my body pretty strong. Least favorite, and I unfortunately, well, maybe it's fortunately, can't do them right now because my wrists can't really support it, but it's burpees. I hate burpees.
Yep.
But they're great for you. They're great for you. Yeah. No, I hate them.
One of the best exercises that you can do for your body, but so many people do not like it.
Yeah.
All right. Question 3. What do you guys think separates successful people from non-successful people on their fitness journey?
Probably discipline, I would say. Maybe either not knowing what to do or not carrying out what to do. So
I think that's a good point, because I feel like for so long I didn't know what to do. But having been a swimmer, I did 6 a.m. workouts, and I did doubles, and I had the discipline, but I didn't know what to do. But then a lot of people will say, how do you stay motivated? And I don't even know. I just say I am my own motivation. Like, I know what I feel like when I'm not taking care of myself, and I don't ever want to feel like that again. But I think the discipline is a good answer.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. And you guys really touched on a couple of really good points there. One being the discipline. You got to have the discipline to be able to come into the gym every day. Even, if you're at the end of your workday and you come in and you are supposed to come into the gym, if you're not feeling good, you still got to have the discipline to even just come in and, maybe you're really not feeling good. Maybe you just come in and get on a bike,
Right.
Just get mobile, get moving a little bit, especially if you work a desk job. Just getting your body moving a little bit can mean the difference from, taking that next step to regressing. I think that's a really big part of it. All right. Question 4, and then I've got one more for you that's not part of the Fitness 4. What is one piece of practical advice that you would give to somebody starting out?
I would say if you could latch onto a friend, even if it's a friend you just met at the gym, it just makes it so much easier to want to show up and to have like that cheerleader with you. But just know that you are worth it and you're worth fighting for. So whatever it takes, just remember that you're worth it.
I would say just terminating in your mind, making a decision and a commitment to yourself that you're not going to fail. No matter what, you're going to persevere. And with that attitude and mindset, you're going to see results. You just stick with it.
I like that. I like both of those. Awesome. Well, we've kind of touched on Ambassador Blinds. Where can people learn more about you guys?
I have a Instagram and Facebook page. Instagram is Patty's Fitness Journey. Facebook is the same thing. It might have Reclaiming My Life, Patty's Fitness Journey, but I think if you type in Patty's Fitness Journey, I keep that up pretty well. And then I have a blog that's just www.reclaimingpatty. And at that blog is from 2016 forward, just documenting everything. Like in the beginning, it's today they made us do this. Can you believe it? You know, and it's pretty fun to go back and read and see the, you know, how far I came in that first year. So
Awesome.
as far as our family, like we keep those private.
Yeah.
So, but I share about my family on Patty's Fitness Journey. So
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys. If you guys want to stay on, I'll pick your brain a little bit more off camera, but thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys for sponsoring the challenge. It's always awesome to chat with folks like you guys who are a big part of the gym family, especially out in Clifton, and to get to know your guys' story a little bit more.
great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Thank you guys for watching. If this is the first episode that you've seen, please check out the entire GymTalk series on our YouTube channel. Just search Mesa Fitness Colorado or GymTalk on YouTube, and you'll find that and much, much more from us. Okay, thanks for watching.